Hey, this is Nikki with Nana's Quilt Cottage. Well, it's Cheer and Merriment, block of the month, a next block. I wanted to show you how to work on block C. These are my tips and tricks for this block. You still have to buy the pattern if you want to make this quilt. This is the Cheer and Merriment Cozy Quilt by Fancy That Designs. We're doing this as a block of the month in our store, and I'm making these little videos to help our customers be able to succeed in making the blocks. So I want to show you a couple tips and tricks for block C. So right here, I'm going to turn to that in our book. It's right here. It's the trees. Now these are made with templates. Don't be scared. It's very easy to work with templates. It's just something that we've got such a rotary cutter society that we just run with rotary cutters and we forget how accurate and fun templates can be. So I want to show you what you need to do for today's block. So for this block, for block C, inside your pattern, you get a pattern page with some templates in it. All right. I used template plastic to trace these templates out. So I just got a piece of template plastic and I traced them out with a Sharpie, a fine tip Sharpie, and cut them out on the lines. One thing I want to really point out though, is on the pattern, you'll see the little edges. There's like little notches cut off. Those are very important. You want to cut those off because those will help you line everything up later. So make sure you cut off those little notches when you're cutting the templates and then when you lay it on the fabric and cut them out. It's very important. So what it wants you to do is everything we're going to use in the block, we're going to do it in the regular way and then in reverse. So let me hold this up so you can see this. I'm praying it doesn't slide off my board. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I have all my pieces cut out. Okay, so you can see all my pieces are cut out here. I cut out all my templates and I laid my templates on top, and that way I know I've got them laid out right. Now you'll notice I have a mirror image set. So in the instructions, you're going to cut out 6 sets of each colorway of your 2 colors. Now, but you need to do some in reverse. So how did I do that? Well, I laid my fabrics wrong sides together. So I took the fabric, say it was this one here. Let me grab a piece out of my box and show you. So say I was cutting out of this poinsettia fabric, right? I laid my piece of fabric wrong sides together, okay? So it's 2 layers. I laid my template on top of it and I cut it out. That way I got the one going the right way and the reverse automatically, okay? Save myself some time there. Instead of cutting out 6 by opening up, instead of cutting out 6 like this and then getting my other piece of fabric and flipping my template over and cutting them all out, I cut them out a little bit more rapid by putting my pieces wrong sides together, laying my template on top, and cutting my pieces out. Then I stack them up on my board here to get them ready to go. So I have all my pieces stacked on my board. So all the ones are the right way, I lay my templates on it and I know I've got everything stacked right. When I traced out my templates, I also made sure I wrote on them just like they were on the paper. So if all my letters are going right side up, then I know my pieces are correct. So here's my opposite side pieces. So then what you're going to do is you have to piece these together, and those notches are now going to come in handy. So I'm going to set my template pieces off to the side because I have everything stacked the appropriate way. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my top 2 pieces here and put them pretty to pretty. The notches you're going to notice are going to line up. So lay my pieces on here and the notches line up on the edge. Okay. Put a pin in there if you want, if that makes you feel more comfortable. They match up pretty dang good, okay? So I'm just gonna lay those pretty to pretty and I'm gonna run them through my sewing machine right here, okay? I want you to see at least how one side of this block goes together. Okay, so I ran the top 2 pieces through the machine, 1/4 inch seam, 2.0 stitch length. Here's my next 2 pieces. Where did my pieces go? I knocked something off. Oh, there they all went. They all went on the floor. Part of having pretty nice sleeves is they catch my pieces and dump them on the floor. Okay. There's my pieces back where they go. Okay, next one here. Grab the next one underneath. I'm not worried about my color combinations and different things yet, because after I get all the pieces sewn, then I'll make up my tree combinations. So I'm just gonna match up the pieces. They match up really nice. You know, they're not the same piece, so they're not gonna match perfect on the bottom, but along this edge where I'm sewing, it lines up. And those notches, I am telling you, are key. They're essential there. My foot pedal's a little farther away. All right, so sew this one. Okay, I'm gonna take these out of the machine here and press them. I'm gonna press toward the colored fabric. That way it doesn't show through on my white fabric. We can't do that on all the pieces, but the ones we can, we will. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a little press. And when I press something, I set the seam with my iron first and then iron it. How I kind of know I did it right is you'll see I've got this rectangle shape here. If I don't have a rectangle shape at the top, my piece is wrong. Why do I know this? Because I pieced mine wrong the first time. Okay, so you want this rectangle shape at the top. That tells you you did it right. Okay, there's the first one. Now the next one is only gonna have a rectangle shape on the side. It's gonna look more like a diamond. Okay, here's my next one. You see it has more of that diamond shape. Reason why is we're gonna put a little triangle down here and then we're gonna connect it to the top one. So I just lay it back on my piece. That way I make sure I've got it going the right direction. I'm gonna grab my bottom triangle, lay it on. Those notches are matching up just like I want them to. Gonna put a pin in it and sew this little triangle on the bottom. Thankful my friend let me use her machine today for my class. It's most similar to the one I sew on at home. It may say a Kenmore, but it's got Janome guts. All right. So give this one a quick press. This one I had to press toward the triangle. Okay, now you can see here's that rectangle shape we were looking for. Okay. So here's both the pieces, one side of my tree. You see how those go together and that angle matches? So I'm gonna just lay these together and the notches and everything makes it work perfect. I'll hold this up after I put a pin in it so you can see how nice that works together. Boop, boop. Okay, you can see how nice that works together just beautifully. Okay, I'm going to throw it under the machine. And I ran out of bobbin. Isn't that just the way it goes? You just run out of bobbin. But I've got some extra bobbins wound, so I'm going to repin this real quick. And then I'm going to sew it one more time because I want you to see how nice this comes together. And I do have a finished block to show you so you can see how beautiful it is. Didn't run out of bobbin, it just went short. Oh, my thread came unthreaded on the top. That's what happened. All good. Another thing I love about Janome Construction is how nice they open up so you can get to the thread. Right, push this through real quick. No needle threader here. This is old school here, threading this machine. But it works, and that's what matters. Okay, again, like I've said in other videos, you don't have to have some fancy machine to make beautiful quilts. All right, so we're gonna sew this up. Take this off the machine so you can see it. Okay, I'm gonna give it a quick press. Okay, so there's the side of my tree right there. Looks good, I've got a nice rectangle. Now I'm gonna sew one of these onto the side of it. And they match up beautifully. I'm always a little concerned with a new pattern, new designer that I haven't sewn some of their stuff before, but I have been very pleased. This has been awesome, you know, because she's using different techniques. And a lot of times, you know, quilts are designed not always on graph paper, but sometimes now on computers. And so I'm always a little leery, like, okay, they designed it on the computer. Did anybody sew it out? Did they make sure all these went together? Or did they just think, I did my math, it's going to work? But this one is sewing together beautifully. Everything's matching up and I love it. All right, so I'm just gonna sew down this seam so you guys can see it, what one half of the block looks like. But you can see, once your pieces are cut out, this block goes together rather quickly. My machine did not sew again. Oh my goodness. It's because I'm filming. It just knows. It just knows I'm filming. Wants to give me thread. All right. Now when you thread, remember always to have your presser foot up. That way your thread gets in the tension discs. All right, come on. It knows I'm being watched, and so that's why it's giving me grief. Goodness. If I had a bloopers reel, I could put this on my bloopers reel. 2 times unthreading in one block. I love it. Come on. Does not want to go in. Went in so easy last time. Cut it again. There we go. Okay, let's try this one more time. Let me repin it real quick. A couple more pins in it. This one going. Got my students arriving for class because this is the block we're making today, but I wanted to film it so that way I could give it to them, because this one, it's going to take a while to cut it out just because it's templates and something new. All right, here we go. Let's get this one sewn up. Making sure the way I pressed it, it stays when I sew it, so the back of my quilt isn't bumpy. You want it as smooth as possible. All right, we sewed that time. All right, let me give it a quick press. Always set your seam with the iron first, and then use your iron to open it up. All right, so there's half the block. So in less than 10 minutes, you can have half a block made from this collection. Pieces are all everywhere. And when you finish the block, this is what it looks like. So the quilt has 6 of these in it. So you're gonna make 6 trees for the Cheer and Merriment cozy quilt. I hope you enjoyed this video and these tips help you in making this quilt. Thanks for watching, and remember, get creative at Nana's. Have a great day.